Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
Pop's Daylight Donuts, man, they've got the best tasting donuts, sausage wraps, pastries in Northeast Oklahoma. And also, if you'll tell the staff there, hey, Scott Townsend said to give me a large spicy pig, they'll give you a free large spicy sausage wrap. But you have to tell them Scott Townsend sent you. So tell them, hey, Scott Townsend told me to tell you to give me a large spicy pig. So there's the offer. There's the call to action. So go to Pop's Daylight Donuts. Say hi to Mark for me. And go to Pop's Daylight Donuts and get you some.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Welcome back to the Scott Townsend Show. And today I have with me two podcasters, new podcasters. I think they're new. We'll find out. I got with me Hugh Jensen and Jon Coleman. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much, Scott.
We appreciate it.
Hey, you bet. Thanks for coming on. It's always fun to give a helping hand to, especially something new like this. Your podcast is called Breakfastbytes. Is that right?
That is correct.
Now,
absolutely.
What is it about breakfast that? How did you guys? Let's start with you guys first. Who are you guys?
You want to go first, Jon?
Jump in, Hugh. I'll let you start.
Okay.
No, you go ahead.
First.
This originated with you in some ways. So
I appreciate that. So, my name's Hugh Jensen, as has been mentioned before. I am 25. I'm a father of two. Just kind of living life out here in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. We moved out here after everything shut down. My wife and I were doing school online, and a great job opportunity came up for me, which kind of led to me meeting Jon in that workplace. We became good friends, partially because at the time we were the only members of our age group at the company that we work for, but we quickly became fast friends, and we've discussed a whole myriad of business ideas together and aspirations. And anyway, this is just it's one of them. So it's I come from a big family, originally from North Carolina, and I've always loved food, everything to do with it. I think it comes from my father mostly, who is a food romantic. Food Network was what I came home to from school every day. Iron Chef and Iron Chef America were huge shows in my household. So anyway, just kind of picked it up from home, and it's been a love that I'm just excited to be able to share. And Jon shares that love of food with me, and it's been a cool journey so far. So that's a bit about me. And Jon, I guess I'll turn it over to you to give some of your background too.
Hello, Jon.
I mean, same thing. I grew up watching Food Network a lot. Alton Brown, one of my favorites, super scientific in the way he talks about food and cooking, all the Iron Chef stuff. So we both have a love of food. And, one day Hugh just kind of came to me and said, I have this idea for a podcast. It's about breakfast. It's a couple of minutes. It's short form. We talk about food. We talk about the breakfast we had that morning.
You're starting to sound like Wally right now.
We posted it out there. It's easy. So we really, I was like, it's a bad idea. So it's just,
oh man.
Okay, so
let's try it. Let's try it and really,
you either sound like you're drunk or you're Wally. I don't know which one. Hang on just a second. Stay right there. We'll wait for your connection to kick back up here and give us the high sign when you're ready. But Hugh, so you had this idea for the Breakfast Bites, BYTES.
Right.
So why was it breakfast? Why wasn't it lunch or dinner?
Well, it's out of either of those meals. Breakfast is something that largely right now and culturally is widely considered optional, which is fine. I absolutely respect that. It's just, it's so interesting to me how many different lifestyles there are surrounding breakfast. One of my interests for a while has been breakfast around the world. What does it look like in other places? Because I mean, when you look at a classic American breakfast, you know, you've got pancakes, you've got sausage, you've got bacon, eggs. Like there's just a classic breakfast, and then you have other countries that have like hummus for breakfast, or rice and soup, and it's just fascinating to me that there are all these different ways to do it. And so it's partially selfish in that I want to know, what do other people do so I can try that out and I can try new foods, but also because I felt like the outreach would be so easy. Everyone has 5 minutes to talk about breakfast. You know, what'd you have this morning? That's what I want to know.
What did you have for breakfast this morning, Hugh?
What I have for, man, I actually this morning had a really awesome breakfast provided for me. I'm a seminary teacher on weekdays, early morning, and we just had our last day today. And one of the administrators provided breakfast for everyone. Man, they had pancakes, they had sausage, the classic American breakfast. But I'll tell you what, they had these homemade syrups. They had a peach syrup, which I'd never had before. They had, and then a strawberry and a raspberry syrup. All three of them. I got one pancake and had a little bit of each one on that pancake to try them all out, and it was spectacular. So just, you know, that's what I had for breakfast. How about you, Scott?
Man, me, you know, I had toast and cream cheese. A lot of cream cheese. There can't
sounds
be
delicious.
Yeah, there can't be too much. There's no such thing as too much cream cheese on either toast or on a bagel. And I hear there's a food shortage. There's a shortage on cream cheese right now. So all the bakers and bagel shop owners are freaking out because they can't, or they're afraid that they're going to run out before they can get resupplied. So that's kind of that's scary. So I'll be making a trip to the store this afternoon real quick to stock up on cream
Buy
cheese.
it all up. That's right.
That and toilet paper. So John, what's your breakfast item this morning?
Oh, I'll tell you, I had an omelet this morning. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm bad at flipping omelets, so it really wasn't an omelet so much as it was a bunch of scrambled eggs that lightly resembled an omelet.
Yeah.
But it had some onion and cheese. I prefer like a sharp cheddar, a little tanginess to it. Actually, I've been going to Aldi's to get these finer cheeses. So this was like a cave aged cheddar for like 1,000 days. And it's I mean, it tastes like cheddar, but there's some like kind of novelty to it that's really fun to me.
The little talking points.
Yeah. The nuttiness, the almonds that come through.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So that's what I had. An egg mixture, not quite an omelet, with some onion and cheese in it.
I've got the Teflon skillet, and I always want to, when I'm doing an omelet kind of a thing, I always want to flip it, and but I'm never brave enough to actually go all the way, and because I know it's not going to wind up in the skillet. So at some point, I just need to take like an afternoon, and I just need to practice flipping eggs, until I can get that move down. Like,
I'll tell you what's actually phenomenal practice there, Scott. If you put just a handful of rice in a pan and you just practice that movement.
Oh, really?
Yes, uncooked rice, cool skillet, and it gives you that practice with the flipping technique.
I didn't even know that.
That's a good tip there.
I can't take credit for it. That's one of the many food channels on YouTube that I follow. But it's a cool little, it gets you comfortable with it. And as soon as you can flip it without any of the rice spilling out, then you know that you've got a pretty decent technique down.
Yeah.
You're ready for the eggs.
You're ready for the eggs.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that was worth the price of admission right there. So we can hang
up.
All right,
everybody,
now.
We're done here.
All right, we'll see you guys later. No,
but
no, that's really interesting. I'm glad to know that. How did you guys get started? So I guess Hugh, you went to Jon, and Jon, you guys kind of collaborated a little bit and came up on this idea with breakfast and
well, it's interesting. We talked about it for a little while and just like, man, yeah, that would be really cool. And we talked about it, and then we kind of discussed some other business ideas we were having, and it just kind of sat on the back burner for a bit. And then I just had a moment, honestly, Scott, where I came to myself. There are moments like that, like in any great book, right? You've got this hero that most heroes start out as losers, right? They're just people,
just
and
normal guys.
And something happens where they come to themselves. They realize that something needs to change, and I just had the thought, like, I love sitting here and having these discussions, but I'm done talking. It's time to actually do something about it. And that day, I was just like, Jon, like, what do we actually need to start this? And he's like, well, we sort of have all the equipment. It won't be polished or anything. I was like, I don't care. Let's do it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just came in a half hour early to work and started the podcast. And now we've been doing it for a little while. It's kind of been on the back burner, to be honest, for a little while. Fourth quarter for us at work has been kind of insane. But it's been really cool to already have a sort of sense of community. And when I went home for Thanksgiving, one of my best friends growing up, his mom came over Thanksgiving night to have some pie. And she brought over some homemade cranberry sauce because of an episode that we made that she listens to.
Cool.
And it's just little stuff like that. It's already feeling like, wow, like people are listening. It's cool to experience that. So
did you guys
get my family? Oh, sorry.
Did you guys get my video about eating cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving?
Did not.
I haven't listened to it yet. No, Scott.
That was just for you guys from that one episode. So I'm gonna stop the podcast right here. I'm gonna upload that video so that you and everybody, your thousands of followers can watch and listen to it.
Good.
Only thousands. What?
Well,
what is this?
I know. I'm sorry, but I did do that. I promised that I would, and so I'm not going to tell you how it turned out. You'll just have to watch this episode. Anyway, cranberries. Yeah,
the suspense has been built here. I'm ready.
Just take a bite of meat and put
this is for the Breakfast Bites on their podcast. We talked about me eating some cranberry sauce. So here you go. Here's the cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving Day, and we're gonna put a dollop on the ham. I'm told that this is a good way to do it. Is this right?
Yeah. However you want to do it.
Actually, that's not bad. 2 thumbs up to the Breakfast Bites. Thanks for the suggestion. So yeah, when you mentioned cranberry, I remembered that little bet that we had about me eating cranberries on sauce on Thanksgiving. So
it was that conversation that sparked my friend's mom to bring it over, and she was like, homemade's the best, and gave me a jar, and it was good. It was great. It was a lot of fun to have. So
I have family members and friends. I've had probably 20 people in the last couple of weeks saying, hey, I want to be on a podcast. I have a favorite breakfast that I want to talk about. Omelets. I've heard tons of egg dishes, which I think is like a recurring theme through some of our episodes. Cranberry sauce comments, stuffing, all these different things. So it's been really, really, really cool just to see the interactions.
Do you guys have a website?
No. Well, you can listen to us on Buzzsprout, which I think you're also hosted there.
Right.
We've been operating mostly on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, on YouTube also. That's a future plan, Hugh. You and I, that we'll talk about that after the podcast.
So let's talk.
We have some ideas.
Let's brainstorm marketing here. I'm a marketing guy, so let's talk about marketing here. So yeah, I can see where if you guys had your website up, using WordPress or GoDaddy or whoever you want to use, and I'm sure you guys could figure out how to do that. You could post recipes. You could post your episodes. You could post questions from listeners.
Right.
Especially the recipes. And tips like what you just gave about the rice and that's a great 1 minute video right there.
That is true.
All these little tips.
We've talked about a couple different ideas. Hugh, I hope you don't mind me divulging a few future thoughts.
Yeah, let's pull back the curtain and see what's going on at the Breakfast Bites.
Absolutely, the recipe idea, 100%. He and I have done a lot of cooking, even more so, I think, since this whole thing started. We've talked about doing like reviews of certain kitchen gadgets and items like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Blog posts about grander food ideas, just not to be dramatic, but we both love to talk. We both love to kind of wax eloquent, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I'll be the judge of that, if it's eloquent or not.
The finer points of like frying bacon naked. There's
a tip right there. We've got 2 tips right now.
Exactly.
Don't fry bacon naked, and use rice to
perfect your flipping technique.
That's right. So there's a couple ideas that we have coming down the pipeline. Yeah.
So have you thought about monetization? Probably too early for that right now, but have you thought about Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee or something like that people can help sponsor, support, or join in different tiers? TIERS.
Right. I'll let Jon answer a little of that, because to be honest, I know for me personally, it hasn't even crossed my mind. I just love doing it. I love creating the content, and Jon's he speaks the language a little bit more than I do, which I think is perfect. I'll like, here you go, Jon, you can do this stuff. But anyway, we've discussed a few different things. And like you said, I think it still is too early. But I'll let Jon kind of dive into that a little.
Yeah. So we've talked about spending time, like we've already said, just developing a community. But then where we jump from there is, there's the Patreons and the Buy Me a Coffees, but that plays into the website idea too, and in the recipes, the product reviews. That's a great opportunity for incorporating some affiliate marketing type ideas, like with curating products on Amazon is one that we've briefly talked about after doing them a review. One thing that's important to both of us is, this is not needed or meant to be like a moneymaker. So we're not just going to, what's the term, sell ourselves out, just to make a buck. We're going to test everything.
You're building this tribe. Okay. So say I'm part of your tribe. So I'm bought in. I'm a part of Breakfast Bites now. So I'm listening, and you guys mentioned something that you liked, and you can go to Amazon to get it. So I go to Amazon. You might as well get, you might as well be an Amazon affiliate for those that are going to buy it. It's not, you're not just throwing crap out there and saying, hey, you need to try this. If it's something that's really okay, so you got my trust, you got my ears, I'm listening to you, and you say, so you guys should try these whatever. Okay.
Egg flippers.
Egg flippers, and so there you go. Go to Amazon, we get a cut, but we think you'll enjoy it. We've tried 3 of these, and this is the best one that we think. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I just had another idea based off this conversation here. What we need to do is put together a quick tip book of cooking ideas, 10, 20, we'll develop them, but, start with rice. Don't fry bacon naked. We'll think of a number of other ones.
Maybe that should be the name of a podcast.
I think that would be great. Don't fry bacon naked.
Rebranding right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to draw the logo for that, but
oh man, have to have a large frying pan. But anyway,
for sure.
Yeah, so those are good ideas. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Amazon affiliate, that's easy to do. Website, that's easy to do. Whether you do a buy me a coffee or Patreon, I'm looking into Patreon right now. That's why it's on top of mind. And people, if they like something, they want to support it. They want to be a part of it. And so you can't be any more a part of something than when you put your money where your mouth is. I'll give you an example. I have another podcast that I do. And this guy, I'm not going to mention names or anything, but anyway, a guy in France is listening to it. I know him. And he was like, wow, this is really cool. And he said, how can I support this? And so I gave him a link and he donates $200. I mean, he's like, keep doing it, And I was like, man, that's really cool. And
that's awesome.
I didn't push it. I didn't even, stupid dog. I didn't push it or anything, but I did have a link that was available, and sure enough, and so that was really, really cool. And that just goes to show, when you build a tribe. Seth Godin wrote a book, Tribes. You should read it if you haven't. It's all about, you have this community, John, that's what you mentioned earlier, and you build this community. They're your tribe. These people are following you, and your niche is this breakfast, everything around breakfast. I think that's really a neat niche, actually. Oh God, and I'm doing all the talking, so I'm going to ask another question.
You're fine.
Hey, we're taking it. We're taking it.
What's been the reaction to your podcast so far?
Hugh, jump in on this one.
Yeah, no problem. It's been really positive. We've actually gotten a lot of feedback on social media. And like Jon was saying, just people in our lives that are reaching out and with their own ideas. And one of my favorite things is Jon's mom sent him a recipe with descriptive language like we use on the podcast. And it was the most wonderful thing. It's been really cool. And there are friends that I haven't talked to in years that have kind of come out of the woodworks and, man, I didn't even know you like to cook. And I was like, shoot, were we that good of friends? Like, I thought we were anyway, but like, it's really cool. It's now I can share that passion of things. And I think it's even been an awesome outlet for me because I've always been very passionate about cooking. But the pressures of a professional kitchen, have always intimidated me. And so now having an outlet for that creativity and for the passions there has been huge in every aspect for me. And so it's been largely positive internally and externally.
I find myself wanting to cook a lot more, not just breakfast, but in being specific, I'll get up, and usually before this, it was quick go, let's get something down and get going with the day. But now I find myself taking more time to either plan it out or put some thought into what would be good content to talk about later. But also just taking time to enjoy it and be creative. Whereas I wouldn't do that regularly beforehand at all. So that's been a huge change just in my day-to-day routine.
So the other question I had, I just hang on a second, I'm gonna cut this part out. Man, I just had a great question. I didn't interrupt, and see, that's what happens. So what's your goal? So what's your goal with the podcast? What do you have an end game? Do you have what? I don't know.
The Breakfastbytes Network with a dozen podcasts, a movie,
TV show.
To be honest, Scott, I think that this at least for me, sprung from a desire to own our lives, and be fully responsible for everything about them. I know that I love where I work. I know Jon loves where we work. But to eventually be able to do this full time, in order to create some of the things we've talked about and be regular with blog posts, with all of these things that social media entails, it's a huge dream of mine to own something and to contribute to society in a positive way that that also allows me to provide for my family. And to be able to own that and to be that is one of my dreams. And whether that's Breakfast Bites plus something supplemental, that's fine. Or if it's Breakfast Bites all on its own and it takes off in a way that we totally don't foresee right now, then that's phenomenal. So that's my vision, is to be able to responsibly take care of my family and be independent in that way. And Jon, I know you've kind of like hitched your ride to this whole project, and it's been integral to everything. So I know you've got your own visions and stuff, but
I think we're of the same mind. At the end of the day, no matter how much I love what I do in this season of my life, eventually this is all about family at the end of it. And maybe Breakfast Bites isn't the thing that makes that happen, where we work from, we work together, but we work on something that we own. But it's the first step. It's the first thing that we're doing. On a less serious note, I do have one major milestone for Breakfast Bites that Hugh and I have talked about. Is we want to launch our own line of merchandise, of specifically cheese blankets, because we mentioned that in previous episodes. And I think Hugh wants a omelet body pillow of some kind. We have a whole host of ideas that are milestones for for different products down the line. But once we hit those, we'll know we've made it. Like this is the ultimate tier of our podcast dreams. But seriously, for us, it's all about family. It's all about being able to stop talking about an idea, but jumping out there and doing it.
Exactly.
Just get to work, and that's what it's been about.
That's right. And so many people, I hear this all my life. When someone wants to go do something else and they're working, it's almost like they have to vilify where they're working to justify taking the next step somewhere else. It really has nothing to do with, this is my opinion, it doesn't have anything to do with where you work or where somebody works. It has everything to do with getting an idea and seeing it through to completion. It doesn't have anything to do with the 9 to 5 or whatever, because the 9 to 5 is great and nothing wrong. It doesn't mean that has to be bad so that this and this is good.
Absolutely.
Just that sometimes after the 9 to 5, then you go over here and you start making this thing, and this thing becomes bigger over time, and may crowd out the 9 to 5. But and that's that's the hope that a lot of people have. But
it's a passion project.
Yeah, it's a passion project. Yeah,
it's creativity and an outlet for it.
Exactly. And even what Jon was mentioning before, it's really just kind of fostering that entrepreneurial spirit, actually acting on the stuff that we talk about. Because like we said, this could not be the thing that does it all, but it's definitely teaching us a lot of awesome lessons, and it's been a really cool journey so far.
I heard Steven Spielberg, he was on the YouTube. I'll put the link down below in the show notes. But anyway, he was talking about, was it intuition or inspiration? I think it was intuition. Anyway, he said a lot of times, more times than not, it's not the loud voice in your face. It's not someone screaming at you or even talking to you. He said it's like this. He didn't say still small voice, but he said it's almost like this small, something's coming up from behind you, sneaking up on you. and you're totally unaware of it, and it just quietly whispers. And if you're too busy and too loud, you're not going to hear it. But if you'll take the time to really listen, these little ideas, these inspirations are always there. It's just whether or not we do anything with them. Are we listening? And so it sounds like you've listened to something that's come up. And so you just go, okay, I'm going to take that and we're going to shape it and we're going to see how it goes. And we kind of talked about that on when I was on y'all's episode.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know,
another we've already. Oh, go ahead.
What? No, you go.
I was just going to say, and we've already seen some big structural changes in how we wanted to do things, because at first it was, all right, we want to keep every episode under 5 minutes so it can be a simple thing. People can tune in every day if they want to. We were doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and just like get that quick little breakfast tip or whatever. And then we just realized that that's not what we wanted. We want to do a little bit longer form, take 10, 15 minutes to really discuss and participate with our community. Cause that's really what it came down to for us is we want to participate with everyone and have this journey with them. And we just couldn't do it with tiny 5-minute segments. It was like intro, talk for a few minutes, and then outro. And it was a little jarring. So it's been even just little adjustments like that have already been happening.
From a marketing standpoint, there was no time to let an episode get saturated, because it was just like, here's an episode, I could talk about it on social for one day, and then I got to move to the next one. There was no time to develop, really, because it was just quick fire, next thing, which is exhausting for us. But it's been worth it to just take it down to 2 episodes. They're longer, but we can talk about them in between much more efficiently and much more thoughtfully. So it's been a great change for us across the board.
Do you are you on is it audio only, or is it both video and audio?
We've been audio only, with the exception of the guest with you coming on our show. I posted that on YouTube, the uncut version, uncut and uncensored. But yeah, we've been audio only primarily up to this point.
Okay, cool.
And that I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, just that I think has only been out of mostly convenience. We just don't want to get too bogged down with, as far as a limitation on equipment. The way I see it, I don't want to sink a bunch of money into this thing and then nothing comes of it. And it's served us well so far. So we'll keep the journey going.
Am I allowed to divulge our recording setup, or should I hold on to that for later, Hugh?
I don't care, dude. Go for it.
So it's kind of funny. We used to record in my office, but it's got tall ceilings and it's just an echo chamber, 100%. Which, if you listen to our first, I think 3 or 4 episodes, you could tell it's not great. And so we tried to isolate sound. There's an episode where I had a jacket over my head.
While
I was recording. It was humiliating.
We've tried a lot.
We
hey, a lot of people do it like that, put a blanket over their head or go in a closet or
exactly.
What we do now is a great talking point is Hugh and I just sit in my car, the two of us, which we're stocky gentlemen. So we're sitting there shoulder to shoulder, hunched over my iPhone, recording these episodes, and people will walk by and just give us the strangest look of, what are these two bozos in the middle of a parking garage recording episodes 3 times a week? I'm sure it looks humorous, but it's been a much more efficient way. And so going back to the video thing, it's kind of a necessity too, is there's not really a great way to in a high quality way to record our faces when we're both basically sitting on a love seat together. recording these episodes. So maybe that will come as we find a better recording setup. But for now, you'll get real close.
So I was doing I did 57 things I would tell my younger self when I turned 57. Mm-hmm. Need to update that. But anyway, so Mark McKinnon, I don't know if you know him. I invited him to visit with me about each one of the 57 pieces of advice. So I got this lavalier. There's the splitter, and there's 2 lavaliers there. And so we'd go to McAllister's, and I'd sit on one side of the table, he'd sit on the other side of the table. And this has a long cord on it. So we were able to just sit there at the table and talk. And this lavalier would pick up the background noise, but it wasn't, like too distracting.
Right.
Yep.
And so we would just record and riff off of, one of the things that I would say. And it worked out really well. So, you might get something like this and not have to sit in your car, or at least you can get away from each other to some extent and
I know,
keep the rumors down.
Yeah, we got some little changes coming soon, some better equipment and so on.
But what? There's nothing wrong with an iPhone. You use what you got.
Oh,
you use what you got. And
that's what. From the beginning, we just thought we were just gonna do whatever we can, and I do feel an obligation to everyone that listens. I do want what we do to be high quality. Mm-hmm. In that same breath, I want to do something. And so if it's as high quality as I can make it, I will make it so. Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty much the goal right now. And so the dream would be to give a much more polished product in the end. But that can only start after that kind of gritty beginning from nothing. So,
well, like this boom arm is like, I don't know, how much was this? $15 on Amazon.
Right.
Yep.
Now this is a Samson Q2U. It's like $93. Probably the most expensive thing I've bought. Got lights here, and you can do it relatively cheap.
It's true.
It's amazing how. But anyway, so one more
much
idea
more accessible.
For you. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Much more accessible than it, was 5 years ago even.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sorry, go ahead. What's your idea?
So give everybody a homework assignment. So, at the end of your session, okay, so here's what we want y'all to do this week. Practice flipping eggs using the rice flipping technique. And every week give your tribe something to do to practice. And then next week,
that's a really good idea.
We're going to talk, how did you do? Send us a video of you doing it, or
on
tell
Instagram,
us how it went.
or right.
Send a picture, hashtag whatever, homework.
Not the frying bacon one, but everything else.
Exactly.
No, you best not send a video. I'll be upset.
Don't want YouTube pulling your channel down.
Right. Yeah, we don't need that. Not this early.
Yeah. But no, that's great. So, that's a really great idea. It's really nichey, very nichey. And it's something that a lot of people could get behind. And so how can this show help? What do you want? What's the call to action here? What do you want people who are watching or listening? What do you want them to do?
We want you guys to come check us out on social media. We're interacting more and more with all of our listeners. All of our podcasts are listenable through any medium of social media. And so check us out. And if you like it, stick around. We have a lot of stuff like we've been discussing today, a lot of stuff coming in the pipeline, and any participation at all. We're just super glad to be able to brighten someone's day and teach them a new technique or make their lives a little better through breakfast. So,
share your favorite, either that's not breakfast. We don't care. If you want to share your favorite lunch, your favorite dinner, snack, we will be more than happy to talk about it, to dissect it, deconstruct it, I think is the culinary term. Yeah. But anything. We just want to talk. We want to interact.
We'll even try eating it for breakfast, and we'll do a Does It Breakfast series.
Yeah. Does it? Yeah. What was that one where it does it? What was that one where the guy uses the hydraulic jack to smash things?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, but does it breakfast? That's great. I love that.
Exactly. So we'll take your lunches, we'll take your dinners, we'll see if it breakfast. We'll let you know.
Oh man, that could be rough.
It could be, but for science.
Yeah, you'll take one for the team.
Exactly.
We'll put a positive spin on it if it's rough.
Yeah.
I mean,
just nothing too.
That's a great. I tell you, I hate. Okay, I watch Food Network. I mean, you've seen these
right
cooks and stuff like that, and every time they cook something, whether it's Martha Stewart or Chef Poupin or whatever, and it's always amazing. It's always remarkable. It can't always be like that. I want to see somebody be real,
right,
on a show and go, "Oh my God, that's horrible." You know, I want to see somebody who's real, who's honest, who's like, I wouldn't feed that to my dog, you know.
Right.
Now they might not be back on the show later, you know, but
you need to go watch on Netflix. It's a little quirky, but you should go watch Nailed It.
Oh,
it's a baking show.
No.
It's just, people, it's the worst. It is awful.
Oh,
they'll have like this beautiful cake structure that's, airbrushed to perfection. And then they'll present theirs, and it's just like there's cake falling out of it. It's very pleasant to watch.
Yeah.
Not sponsored, but go check it out.
What show is? What would you say? And that might be another one to do. Is what shows are you watching? What do you recommend, John? What if you were to tell me here's the cooking show you need to watch? What would it be? Besides Breakfastbytes.
I believe the name, it's not a podcast, but I think it's called Good Eats with Alton Brown it's been around a while. Go watch all of his episodes because he's an incredibly intelligent guy. He'll break it down in a scientific way of why certain foods work together, why they don't, techniques, tips, tricks, all the above. One of my favorite, favorite shows, I don't even want to call him an influencer or creator. One of my favorite creators. He does stuff on social media too now. But go check out Good Eats because he does some awesome stuff if you're interested in food and being a foodie like Hugh and I.
What about you, Hugh?
Man, I think one of my first recommendations has to be Joshua Weissman on YouTube. He's a Texan, incredible cook. And his food content is some of my favorite that's out there. He's just incredible at what he does, breaks everything down for you really well. It's him. And then it also has to be, I think his channel is called Alex French Guy Cooking. He's this guy out of France who actually I got the rice technique from him specifically.
Okay.
He does these series where he gets really obsessed with one thing. That was his fried rice series, and his practice with a wok. And anyway, so it's just he's an amazing content creator. They both are very high quality, polished product with some great humor as well. So Joshua Weissman, which, man, I shout out to both of them, though we would love an interview with either one. That would be dream come true, man. Like that would be amazing.
Go for it.
But anyway, Joshua Weissman, it's Weissman. Great guy. And then Alex French Guy Cooking. Check them out. I've learned a lot of techniques from those two.
And so if anybody wants to check you guys out first, which I recommend everybody does, where do they go?
You can get us on just about every social media platform, just about every podcasting platform. We're hosted on Buzzsprout, so you can find us there. We've got like 15-ish episodes out right now, with more episodes dropping on the 20th. So check us out. We got plenty to listen to now and more coming soon. Some great content. I'm a little biased, but
right.
I mean,
well, and Scott mentioned it earlier. It is Breakfast Bites, BYTES.
Right.
So Breakfast BYTES podcast. If you look us up on social media, you'll find us just about anywhere. We'd love to have you guys join the tribe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else before we hang it up here? It looks like we've gone almost an hour here, which is really great. I knew we would. Any last thoughts about breakfast?
Man,
should you even be eating breakfast? There's a whole faction that says you should fast.
There is
the breakfast.
And if you believe in intermittent, or if you participate in intermittent fasting, any of that thing, great. We know that you just break your fast later in the day. But I have found that starting my day that way with a good breakfast psychologically helps me have a really good day. And so I think even though a lot of the science coming out right now, the dietetics are pointing towards intermittent fasting, skipping breakfast, all of those things, I would just recommend do what makes you feel good in your body, mentally. And we'd invite you to participate with us in breakfast and all those things, because it's a wonderful meal. It's a lot of fun. So that's my take on it. I don't know if you have another one, John.
Well, as an intermittent faster, I totally understand. So we got content for you too. Don't worry. So don't eat, whichever you do, we will talk about breaking your fast no matter what time of day it is. So
all right, there you go.
There we go.
Cool. Well, thanks guys for joining the show. Thanks for being here, taking your time to talk about Breakfast Bites, your podcast. You can find it anywhere podcasts are available. Hugh, John, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
It was a blast.
So for Hugh and John, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for watching, listening to the Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Dietzo Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.